The recent terrorist attack in Mastung has renewed concerns over a possible nexus between the Balochistan Liberation Army and ISIS. Security experts warn that growing cooperation among militant groups could pose a broader threat to regional and international security. And for more on this, we're joined by Mr. Murat Aslan, faculty member at Hasan Kalyoncu University, researcher at the Terr0r Foundation and former military intelligence officer, joining us live from Turkey. Mr. Aslan, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us on Asia One. Now, the attack in Balochistan's Mastung area has raised concerns about possible links between the BLA and ISIS. How significant would such cooperation be from a security perspective?
Thanks for having me. I think we should have an analogy that Turkey has already experienced. It's PKK and Gulenists, usually known in Turkey as FETÖ. These two organizations are totally different in terms of ideology. Gulenists are radical and claiming as if they are moderate Islam. On the other hand, PKK is Marxist and secessionist. So if you put BLA and also ISIS, they are similar in my opinion. In this case, we saw or witnessed some sort of cooperation in past. For instance, it was 2016 July 15 coup attempt when Gulenists were in charge. PKK was silent in favor of Gulenists. Or if you go to 2015, when PKK started great acts, Gulenists provided direct intelligence support to PKK by means of their, cadres in either armed forces or police forces. In this sense, yes, doesn't matter if these two organizations are different in terms of ideology or objective. Enemy shared will make them, cooperating. On the other hand, the land that they are dealing with is also they share. In this sense, there may be a cooperation, and this is a usual pattern among the terrorist organizations.
So now, if we have credible evidence that suggests that the BLA is cooperating with ISIS, how should that change the way the international community views this group?
Well, don't expect too much from international community because they even do not have an agreement on what terrorism is or which group is a terrorist organization or freedom fighter or is not. Let's go and visit the UN, for instance, or EU or NATO. If you are strong enough to push them to accept a resolution, they may accept, but implementation is usually short of practice. In this sense, I don't see any hope that any country on the globe will credit any of these organizations as terrorists or not, but will not be interested in. I mean, it's something ongoing over there that they have nothing to do. This is what they will believe in, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Now, how serious is the risk of Afghanistan once again becoming a safe haven for terrorist groups?
Well, Afghanistan is currently experiencing a great transition. In the meantime, Taliban government does have disputes inside. We know that there's a sort of competition inside the organization. On the other hand, ISIS is currently in Afghanistan together with other 4 or 5 different terrorist organizations. Sometimes Taliban's harsh radical ideology requires silence. Sometimes they are not capable. In this sense, the best way, I believe, is to have Afghans sided by, for instance, Pakistan, consult, negotiate, agree, and act together. Otherwise, it will be a problem of not Afghanistan or Pakistan, but the region-wise. But I have a hope that Afghans, especially Taliban government, will somehow push themselves, accept the terms of Pakistanis, to suppress such sort of terrorist organizations in their land.
So, Mr. Aslan, now are groups such as the BLA, ISIS, and Tehreek al-Taliban, Pakistan, and also Al-Qaeda becoming part of a broader transnational military network or militant network?
Well, they may be. There's a great literature on what terrorist organizations could do as far as they label themselves as international or transnational. But please don't forget something. We have lessons learned from the Second World War, Cold War era, and also the recent decades, all terrorist organizations cooperate and collaborate, and they don't hesitate sometimes to sacrifice some of their benefits for the sake of another, even though they are disputed. So don't expect too much from the others to provide support, but these organizations may come together and agree. Example again, Turkish case, all leftist organizations, terrorist organizations were collaborating in Turkey, even though some of them were pro-Chinese or pro-Soviet or Marxist or etc. So don't expect too much from the others, and these organizations can easily come together up until they realize their own agendas.
So if militant groups are increasingly cooperating across borders, what practical steps should maybe the international community or other countries affected by this scourge take to counter this evolving security unrest?
What Turkey is currently doing is to start a terror-free Turkey by a reconciliation with PKK. And it's a political act, I mean, not a military or security-wise. I think we should first start from the people, public. If public is not persuaded, terrorist organizations will always enjoy a ground to start at attacks or obtain intelligence directly offending the security forces. So if there had to be measures to some extent, well, then Pakistani government, I believe, should start with a public affairs and public diplomacy campaign. The second issue is that nobody knows about, for instance, PLA or BLA or the other organizations worldwide. In Turkey, if you say Balochi, I mean, nobody will know it. So the Pakistani government should tell the global public that there's a problem over there. Otherwise, people will not be interested unless these organizations are in their country.
Mr. Murat Aslan, thank you so much for being with us on Asia One.